Have you ever wondered why some people seem to stumble into wealth while others work tirelessly but never seem to get ahead? Why does one person win the lottery on a casual Sunday while another prays for a breakthrough their whole life and gets nothing but bills? Is it luck, fate, or is there something deeper at play? Here's the truth. Luck isn't random, it's alignment. And on April 13th, 2025, the energy of the universe is aligning in a rare way, one that ancient Buddhist teachings have quietly understood for centuries. In today's video, we're diving into 6 powerful numbers, not for superstition, but for intention. These numbers are energetic doorways, and when used mindfully, they can help you unlock more than money. They can help you unlock clarity, confidence, and true abundance. But first, if you're ready to shift your energy and start living with purpose, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to grow. And here's your first small action toward transformation. Comment below. I welcome growth and harmony into my life. Just that simple sentence starts reprogramming your focus and setting your intention. Because when your energy shifts, everything around you begins to change. Let's begin this journey together and make April 13th the day your alignment begins. Part 1, number 8, the infinite flow of abundance. In the realm of spiritual numerology, the number 8 holds a powerful resonance, one that's been revered across cultures, philosophies, and belief systems. Its symmetrical shape represents infinity, a continuous cycle with no beginning and no end. And in the world of energy and abundance, this symbol carries a timeless message. True wealth is not meant to be hoarded, it's meant to flow. Number 8 is often associated with leadership, financial power, and karma. It speaks to the idea that what we send out, through our actions, intentions, and energy, inevitably returns. But perhaps its most underrated power lies in its reminder that wealth, like breath, must circulate. Let me tell you the story of a businessman. Let's call him Mr. T. He lived a quiet life, rarely seen in the public eye. But every major decision he made, from the time of day he signed contracts to the number of investment properties he owned, revolved around the number 8. Not out of superstition, but because he believed deeply in its symbolism. What most people didn't know is that his real turning point didn't come from a big financial win. It came the day he decided to let go of resentment he had held for years toward a business partner who betrayed him. That decision to release emotional debt unblocked his energetic flow. From that moment on, his wealth expanded rapidly. "I stopped trying to keep money," he once said, "and started learning how to move it, share it, and trust it." That's the secret power of 8. You see, abundance isn't about stacking more. It's about creating a cycle where money, energy, and generosity constantly circulate. When we block the flow, by clinging, fearing, or resenting, we stop abundance in its tracks. When you meditate or align yourself with the number 8, you're making a quiet but powerful statement. I trust the flow. I don't need to grip what's mine. I give, I receive, and I rise. So as April 13th approaches, consider this. Don't just think of wealth as numbers in an account. Think of it as a stream. Let the water run. Let it nourish others. And let it return to you, stronger. Because the richest people aren't always those who keep the most. They're the ones who know how to keep it moving. Part 2, number 56, the balance of change and compassion. In numerology, some numbers whisper, and some speak loudly about who we need to become. Number 56 is one of those rare voices that urges us to evolve. Not just through ambition, but through love. Let's break it down. The number 5 carries the bold energy of freedom, exploration, and personal growth. It's the spirit of the wanderer, the rebel, the transformer. It invites you to break patterns, take risks, and seek new experiences. On the other hand, the number 6 brings a grounded energy of responsibility, care, and compassion. It speaks to family, healing, and the sacred duty of nurturing those we love. When combined into 56, we get a beautifully layered vibration that calls us to grow through giving, to transform through service. Let me share a story that embodies this number perfectly. There was a woman named Elena, 60 years old, who had spent over 30 years working as a financial analyst in a large firm. Her life was structured, stable, and, if you looked from the outside, very successful. But everything changed when her younger sister was diagnosed with a rare illness that required constant care. Elena made a decision that stunned her colleagues. She quit her job. Many thought she was throwing away everything she'd built, but she felt something deep inside pulling her toward a new kind of purpose. She moved in with her sister, learned about holistic care, and even began studying herbal medicine in her free time. Here's where the universe responded. Through a casual conversation with a neighbor, Elena was introduced to a wellness startup that needed someone with both medical insight and financial expertise. Her knowledge, combined with her compassion, was exactly what they were looking for. She ended up becoming a partner in the company, earning more than she ever had before, while doing work that healed others. Was it luck? No. It was the magic of alignment. Number 56 tells us that when we embrace change not just for ourselves, but with empathy for others, new doors open, ones we couldn't have imagined through logic alone. It's a call to walk the tightrope between growth and grace. As April 13th approaches, ask yourself, where am I being called to change? And how can that change become a gift? Not just for me, but for those around me. This number reminds us that transformation doesn't always mean abandoning stability. Sometimes it's about bringing our heart into our decisions and letting that become the foundation of new beginnings. Remember, freedom without compassion becomes selfishness. Compassion without growth becomes sacrifice. But together, they create a future filled with meaning, connection, and yes, unexpected abundance. Let number 56 guide your steps this month, and you may find that the most profound rewards come not when you chase wealth, but when you choose love and grow because of it. Part 3, number 12, completion, order, and spiritual awakening. In both spiritual teachings and everyday life, some numbers seem to hold a rhythm, a deep, quiet wisdom beneath the surface. Number 12 is one such number. It's not just a numerical value, it's a universal pattern. Let's begin with the basics. The number 1 symbolizes beginnings, courage, independence, initiation. The number 2 represents partnership, harmony, cooperation, support. Together they create 12, a number that symbolizes completion, wholeness, and synchronized purpose. We see the influence of 12 everywhere. 12 months in a year, the full cycle of time. 12 hours on a clock, the complete measure of a day. In Buddhist philosophy, the 12 nidanas describe the chain of cause and effect, 12 links of karma that connect our thoughts, actions, and destiny. So what does this mean for us on April 13th? It means this is a powerful time to close loops, finish what you've started, and align your actions with spiritual order. Number 12 invites you to step into your purpose, not chaotically, but with clarity, structure, and inner peace. Let me tell you a story. There was a retired gentleman named Mr. David, age 73. After decades working as a civil servant, he felt a quiet calling in his heart to teach mindfulness and meditation. It had been his private practice for years, but he never saw himself as a teacher. One evening in early March, he sat down and wrote out 12 clear goals on a sheet of paper. He called it his circle of completion. His list included small tasks, like buying cushions and renting a room, and big ones, like finding his first student, creating a name for the class, and speaking without fear. To his surprise, within just 1 month, all 12 goals began falling into place. An old friend donated a space for free. His niece created flyers. And on April 13th, just as he had hoped, his first class opened, with 8 students sitting quietly in a circle, breathing, healing, and listening. What changed? It wasn't magic. It was order, intention, and divine timing. The number 12 reminds us that when we live with structure, purpose, and spiritual alignment, the universe organizes itself around us. You don't need to rush. You don't need to guess. You simply need to create space for things to finish and for new things to begin. So this month, take a cue from Mr. Han. Write down your 12 intentions. Let each one represent a piece of your inner puzzle and move through them, not with force, but with faith. Because number 12 doesn't just complete the cycle, it completes you, mind, body, and spirit. Let this be the month you close what's lingering, start what matters, and trust that everything is falling into place, exactly as it should. Part 4. Number 33. The master number of healing and selfless service. Among all spiritual numbers, 33 holds a unique place. Known as a master number, it doesn't just carry power, it carries purpose. The number 3 on its own stands for creativity, expression, and joy. But when doubled into 33, its energy evolves into something greater, a vibration of compassion, healing, and spiritual service. It becomes the number of those who are called to lift others, not through power, but through presence. Where other numbers speak of achievement or transformation, 33 whispers of love in action. It calls us to support, to listen, to comfort. Not because we'll get something in return, but because we recognize ourselves in others. Let me share a true story that captures the heart of 33. In a bustling city corner, there was a man. Let's call him Sam. He was homeless, often overlooked by people rushing past. But what made Sam different was that he never let bitterness take root in his heart. He smiled at strangers. He greeted children. He listened, really listened, when someone sat beside him on the bench. One afternoon, a well-dressed woman sat next to him, visibly upset. Sam didn't ask for anything. He simply looked at her and said, "Rough day?" That simple question opened a floodgate. She spoke for almost an hour about her work stress, loneliness, and the pressure of being successful. Sam nodded, never interrupting. When she finished, he said, "You're stronger than you think. You just forgot for a moment." 2 weeks later, that woman returned, but this time, she brought someone with her, a friend who ran a nonprofit offering job training and housing for those ready to rebuild. Sam was speechless. She said, "You helped me remember my worth. Now it's my turn." That's the power of number 33 in action. You see, when you lift someone else, especially when no one else does, you align with one of the highest spiritual vibrations available. You become a channel for grace, healing, and growth, not just for others, but for yourself. On April 13th, this number calls to anyone who has ever felt forgotten, yet still chooses kindness. Anyone who has carried pain, but chose to listen instead of lash out. Anyone who has given love, Not because they had to, but because they believed it still mattered. Here's the truth. When you help someone rise, you're not giving your strength away. You're multiplying it through connection, compassion, and shared humanity. So this month, look for small ways to live the energy of 33. Offer a kind word. Forgive someone who never apologized. Be the one who stays when others walk away. Because in a world chasing success, those who choose service will quietly inherit the most powerful kind of wealth, a life filled with meaning, healing, and peace. And that is what true abundance feels like. Part 5. Number 42. The path to stable relationships and inner peace. In the quiet strength of numbers, 42 stands as a beacon of stability, connection, and emotional harmony. The number 4 represents foundation, a symbol of structure, security, and discipline. It's the energy of building something solid that can withstand time. The number 2 represents connection, trust, and unity. It's about relationships, cooperation, and the invisible bonds that link us to one another. Together they form 42, a number that speaks of building long-term harmony, not only in our finances or careers, but in our hearts and our homes. While other numbers may call us to change, explore, or take risks, 42 gently reminds us that growth means nothing without grounding, and prosperity without peace is never sustainable. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this beautifully. There was a man named Mr. Thomas, now in his late 60s, who hadn't spoken to his son in nearly 30 years. A rift created in anger, ego, and misunderstanding had grown wider with time. Letters were returned, calls unanswered. The silence between them became heavier than any words could carry. Until one day, on a cold morning in February, Dewey sat down with a pen and paper. The date was 4/2, February 4th. He didn't plan it that way, but the symbolism would become unforgettable. In that letter, he wrote not with pride, but with humility. I don't know how to fix the past, but I miss you, son. I'm still your father, and I will always be waiting. He sent it with no expectation, but exactly 42 days later, his phone rang. It was his son. That one moment, vulnerable, grounded, and real, repaired a bridge time had long abandoned. They met that spring, they cried, and they started over. Today they work together in a small family-run business. What was once lost became the foundation of something deeply fulfilling. Not just emotionally, but financially. You see, emotional peace is often the missing key to material success. We try to chase abundance through hustle, deals, and effort, but we forget how much energy we lose in the tension of unresolved emotions. Fear, anger, regret. These are silent saboteurs of our focus and flow. But when we heal our relationships, when we bring stability into our inner world, it reflects in our outer reality. Clarity improves, decisions become smarter, trust builds, opportunities open. Not because we worked harder, but because we breathed easier. So as April 13th approaches, let the number 42 remind you of this truth. Build your life on emotional strength. Reconnect with what matters, even if it feels uncomfortable. And remember, it's never too late to repair the foundations of your heart. Because when you restore what's broken within, you unlock what's been blocked outside. And that's the kind of wealth no bank account can measure. Part 6. Number 5. Change, courage, and spiritual freedom. If there's one number that refuses to sit still, it's 5. In numerology, number 5 carries the raw, untamed energy of movement, freedom, and bold transformation. It's the number of the adventurer, The soul who dares to ask, what else is out there for me? And is brave enough to go find out. While other numbers bring peace, planning, or purpose, 5 brings the breakthrough. It's uncomfortable, it's wild, and it often shows up when you're standing on the edge of something bigger than your comfort zone. 5 says, jump. Let me tell you the story of Uncle Jacob, a man who lived 68 years doing all the right things. He worked in the city, paid off his home, and raised a family. He did what society expected, but deep down, he always felt off. Not unhappy, but not alive either. At 68, when most of his peers were settling into routines of retirement and reruns, Hua made a radical choice. He packed a single backpack, sold almost everything, and moved into a remote forest cabin 3 hours from the city. No Wi-Fi, no neighbors, just him, a pen and silence. At first, people thought he'd lost his mind. But what they didn't see was that Jacob was finally finding himself. He began journaling every morning, reflections on nature, on aging, on regret, on freedom. Over 5 years, his quiet writings became a powerful collection. One day, a visiting friend read through them and was blown away. Long story short, those journals became a book, and that book, it became a national bestseller. Not because Jacob chased fame, but because he had something real to say, written from a place of deep spiritual honesty. Today at 73, Jacob speaks to younger generations about finding truth outside the noise. And it all started because he dared to walk away. That's the heart of number 5. 5 is the energy of change, but not just any change. It's the kind of transformation that requires you to let go before you're sure what comes next. It's not reckless, it's faith in motion. So what does this mean for April 13th? It means that if something in your life feels stagnant, misaligned, or too safe, you're being nudged. Not to destroy what you've built, but to rebirth what's been buried. Ask yourself, what do I need to leave behind in order to move forward? What version of me is waiting on the other side of fear? Because the truth is, you can't receive a new life with hands full of the old one. Number 5 invites you to release, to move, to dare. And if you feel that inner pull, even just a whisper, it might be your soul saying, this is the moment. Change your path and watch your story change too. Part 7. Meditation and numbers, aligning mind and energy. Numbers aren't just for counting. In spiritual practice, they can act as portals, each carrying a unique vibration that affects how we think, feel, and act. When we meditate on a specific number, we're not just focusing on a symbol, we're tuning ourselves to its frequency. That's the heart of numerical meditation, a quiet, powerful practice of alignment. So how do you do it? Simple ways to meditate with numbers. Choose your number. Pick a number that resonates with your current goal. Want stability? Try 42. Craving change? Go with 5. Write it down. On a piece of paper and place it under your pillow. On your wrist or palm with a non-toxic marker, or even in your journal with an affirmation, e.g., I align with the energy of 8. Abundance flows through me. Sit in stillness. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Visualize the number glowing in your mind. Let its shape, color, and meaning sink into your awareness. Stay with it for 5-10 minutes. Repeat a mantra. Silently repeat the number like a mantra. Let it echo inside you, clearing space for new clarity and calm. In a small retirement community, a group of 8 seniors began a simple 21-day experiment. Each person chose one lucky number and meditated on it for 5 minutes every morning. By the end of the 3 weeks, something amazing happened. One woman received surprise news of an inheritance. Another's chronic insomnia disappeared. A widower finally reconnected with his estranged daughter on the very day he visualized the number 2, symbolizing unity. Coincidence? Maybe. But they called it something else. Alignment. Because when you still your mind, focus your energy, and open your heart, the universe tends to respond. Part 8. Applying the energy beyond lottery. Let's be clear, these numbers aren't just for winning tickets. Their real power lies in how you apply their energy to your everyday life. Because what good is luck if it only lasts a day? True abundance is about long-term transformation, not short-term gain. Business and career. Use number 8. The number 8 radiates strength, structure, and authority. In business, it can guide your decision-making. Schedule important meetings or launches on the 8th, 17th, or 26th. When pricing products or setting financial goals, include 8 to symbolize ongoing flow. Meditate on 8 before negotiations to channel confidence and clarity. Remember, 8 reminds you that wealth flows, not stagnates. Make decisions that benefit not just you, but others too. Family and relationships. Embrace number 33. The master number 33 brings healing and unconditional love. In relationships, write 33 on a sticky note and place it where the family gathers, your kitchen, living room, or altar. Use it as a reminder to check in with loved ones, offer support, and speak gently, especially when emotions run high. For caregivers, 33 is the spiritual recharge. Reflect on it when feeling overwhelmed and let it realign you with your deeper purpose. Learning and growth. Activate number 5 or 56. When you're ready to learn a new skill, take a course, or reinvent yourself. 5 and 56 are your companions. They encourage curiosity, adaptability, and openness. Write them in your journal or calendar when starting something new. The key takeaway? Don't wait for the lottery to change your life. Let your energy do it first. These numbers are tools, not tickets. Use them with purpose, and you'll notice that transformation doesn't just come through luck. It comes through intention. You came here looking for lucky numbers. But maybe what you really found was yourself. Because the truth is, the greatest jackpot you'll ever win isn't printed on a ticket. It's the quiet power inside you, the ability to choose clarity over chaos, love over fear, and alignment over desperation. Each number we've explored isn't just a chance at fortune, it's a mirror, a reflection of who you're becoming. 8 reminds you to let abundance flow, not just pile up. 33 calls you to heal others as you heal yourself. 5 dares you to change, even when it scares you. And 12, 42, 56, they guide you to complete, balance, and grow. You see, the real lottery is your life, and every decision you make is a number you've chosen to play. So as April 13th approaches, don't just pick your lucky numbers, live them. Live with presence, live with intention, and above all, live like someone who knows that the universe responds not to chance, but to courage. Now it's your turn. Comment below. My energy creates my future. And let that be the first move in your next winning streak. If this journey has spoken to your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a shift. We're all in this together, walking, learning, growing, and just maybe your next miracle is already on the way.